Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books, right here in the live studios in Hythe, Kent, Southeast England, in view of the English channel. We're a little late, so I'm going to go right into it. We'll read Srimad Bhagavatamrta Mahima Stotram, composed by Srila Sanatana Goswami for his book Sri Krishna Lila Stava, Glorification of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the basis of the Brhad Bhagavatamrta, which we're reading now. It goes like this: Sarva Shastabdi Piyusha, Sarva Vedaika Satpala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya, Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Srimad Bhagavata Prabho, Kalidwandodita Ditya, Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master, Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya, Prema Varshaksharayate, Sarvada Sarvasevyaya, Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin, Madguro Man Mahadana, Manistadaka Madbhagya, Mad Anandana Mostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu Saduta Dayin, Atini Chochata Kada, Hanamun Chagadachin Mam Premna Rit Kantahyospura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, we've reached the fourth chapter of the first part of Brhad Bhagavatamrta. Narada Muni has reached he's reached the abode of Hanuman, and after glorifying Hanuman, Hanuman is now in the process of glorifying the Pandavas, who he considers to be better devotees than himself. We begin with text 78. Because the Lord resides constantly with the Pandavas, their capital city has become like a sacred forest where great sages perform austerities, and residing in that city awards one the same pious benefits as performing austere acts of penance. Commentary. Many renounced sages visited the Pandavas' capital, Hastinapur, to see Sri Krishna, because they knew very well that seeing him is the perfection of all austerities. As Narada told Yudhishthira, all of you Pandavas are extremely fortunate, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, lives in your palace just like a human being. Great saintly persons know this very well, and therefore they constantly visit this house. Bhagavatam 7:10-48. For decades, for devotees of Krishna, tapas refers not so much to troublesome austerities of the body as to one-pointed concentration of the mind. And as for his pure devotees, fixing the mind on Krishna is not an austerity at all, but the highest pleasure. For the Vaishnavas in Hastinapur, the invaluable fruit of tapas, tat tapak palam, sat tapak palam, was to be able to see him constantly, sometimes physically, but always in their hearts. Text 79. Sri Parikshit said, upon hearing these words, Sri Narada became uncontrollably eager to see the lotus feet of Krishna. He simply wanted to go to Dwarka and live there forever. He stood up, sat down, and stood up again. He danced enthusiastically, filled with inner joy, and made loud cries. Commentary. Hearing the description of the glories of Sri Krishna and his beloved devotees, Narada remembered how much he had enjoyed staying in Dwarka whenever he could. Eager to engage in the worship of Lord Krishna, O best of the Kurus, Narada Muni stayed for some time in Dwarka, which was always protected by the arms of Govinda. Bhagavatam 11.2, 1. Though Hanuman was still speaking, Narada could not help but interrupt him with shouts of joy. By this time, Narada's ecstasy had become uncontrollable. Text 80. Hanuman's heart was immersed in transcendental tastes from speaking about the Pandavas. With his ecstasy raised even higher by Narada's dancing, he continued to speak about the topics. Commentary. Hanuman did not join Narada in dancing because Hanuman's ecstasy lay in speaking to glorify the Pandavas more and more. His attraction to this katha was not a mundane urge to speak for self-satisfaction, but a rasa, a transcendental sweet taste known only to pure Vaishnavas. This katha rasa acts like an intoxicating liquor. It makes those who drink it forget the pain of material life by immersing them in complete satisfaction and happiness. Hanuman was not annoyed when Narada interrupted his speech with ecstatic dancing and shouts of joy. Quite the opposite. His ecstasy increased, and he felt inspired to go on speaking more and more. Text 81. Sri Hanuman said, all the calamities that befell the Pandavas were most auspicious and desirable, because those calamities made the personality of Godhead anxious to join the Pandavas quickly. Commentary. Whenever Krishna heard that the Pandavas were in danger, he would want to drop whatever he was doing and go at once to help them. And since the Pandavas' misfortune was auspicious, how much more auspicious was their good fortune? Krishna helped the brothers kill Jarasandha and then washed the feet of everyone at Yudhishthir's Rajasuya sacrifice. So who can adequately describe the glory of the Pandavas' loving exchanges with Krishna? Before, Hanuman had said that the Pandavas' troubles were not real, that they were only a show arranged by Krishna to advertise the Pandavas' steadfastness and other saintly qualities. Now Hanuman speaks differently. Even taking for granted that the calamities were real, as they seemed to ordinary eyes, those troubles brought the Pandavas the greatest good fortune. Text 82. O Pandavas, pure love has subdued you. Ignoring discrimination and etiquette, you engage my Lord as your messenger and charioteer. Commentary. In his trance of kirtan ecstasy, Hanuman addressed the Pandavas as if they were present before him. He is astounded at their behavior with Krishna, violating the proprieties that forbid servants from giving orders to their master. The Pandavas failed even to consider that menial services like carrying messages are not tasks in which to engage Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the entire universe, the supervisor of Brahma and all the demigods. The Supreme Lord submits to such treatment only with his dearest devotees. Text 83. Ah, you Pandavas must know some transcendental herb or mantra that can enchant the most powerful enchanter. Commentary. Because the Pandavas are under the sway of prema, they can be excused for transgressing reason and etiquette. But why does the personality of Godhead agree to be dealt with lightly? Hanuman surmises that the brothers must know some magic that can hypnotize the Lord. Krishna is the supreme magician, the enchanter of everyone else, so whatever can enchant him must be extraordinary. No such magic herb or mantra is to be found anywhere in this world. The real identity of this magic will be revealed by Hanuman in text 85. Krishna is enchanted only by the perfect love of his intimate devotees. Text 84. Parikshit Maharaj said, O mother, O celebrated wife of the son of the Pandavas. After Hanuman said this, he repeatedly jumped up into the air, higher and higher, joining the sage Narada in dancing. He then continued to speak. Commentary. When pure devotees are glorified, everyone in relation to them is glorified, including their families and disciples. Uttara, to whom Parikshit is speaking, is both his mother and the wife of Abhimanyu, who is referred to here as Pandaveya, because he was the son of Arjuna and Subhadra. Thus, Srimati Uttara shared in the Pandavas' glory by marriage and by being Parikshit's mother. Text 85. O Master of all masters, you are conquered by your great affection for your devotees. This is how you attract their hearts. Commentary. Now Hanuman addresses Lord Krishna. You are the Lord of all lords of the universe. But you become a chariot driver, an order carrier for the Pandavas. This is certainly possible because your love for your devotees makes you a slave, its slave. Having lost your independence, you are forced to do whatever your devotees want. On various occasions, the personality of Godhead has admitted his dependence on his devotees. For example, he once confessed to Durvasa Muni, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent, because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. I sit only within the core of their hearts. What to speak of my devotees? Even the devotees of my devotees are very dear to me. Bhagavatam 9.4.63. But doesn't the Lord's loss of independence pain the hearts of the devotees who love him? No. Everything the personality of Godhead does attracts the devotees' hearts, which he fills with pleasure. He acts only for the satisfaction of his devotees and is always careful to avoid causing them anxiety. In the Lord's own words cited above, he is Bhakta Jana Priya, affectionately concerned for the happiness of his devotees. The Vaishnavas are more happy to see Krishna driving Arjuna's chariot and treating Yudhishthira with respect, because these exchanges of love between Krishna and the Pandavas glorify both the Lord and the servants he chooses to serve. Like an attentive parent, the Supreme Lord constantly fosters his devotees' spiritual development by everything he does. Although fit to annihilate all the Danavas within a few minutes, I perform various pastimes just to entertain my devotees. Just as the fish, the tortoise, and the bird nourish their offspring by respectively watching them, meditating upon them, and keeping them in physical contact, so do I maintain my devotees, O lotus-born Brahma. This is from the Padma Purana. Text 86. It is my greatest fortune that Prita's middle son, Bhimasen, is also my dear younger brother. Commentary. Hanuman has just finished describing himself as unfortunate, but by speaking about the Pandavas, he now considers himself transformed into a most fortunate person. He praises his own good fortune, remembering that he and Bhima are both sons of the wind god. Bhima is the second eldest of the five Pandavas, but among the Parthas, the three sons of Pandu's first wife Prita, his place by birth is in the middle. Mother Prita is herself an intimate devotee of Krishna, so Hanuman is even more honored to remember that she is his aunt. By saying that Bhima is Kaniyan Bayasa, inferior to himself in age, he subtly implies that Bhima is his superior in character. Hanuman admires Bhima so much because he considers Bhima the better devotee. Text 87. Lord Krishna, by acts of friendship, like giving his sister in marriage to the Pandava Arjuna, showed Arjuna full mercy, and that Arjuna bears my image on the treasured flag of his chariot. Commentary. Lord Krishna's sister, Subhadra, is a direct expansion of his internal potency, and the Lord approved her marriage to Arjuna. Later in the Kurukshetra war, the Lord agreed to drive Arjuna's chariot. These favors distinguish Arjuna as the most dear to Krishna among the Pandavas. Therefore Hanuman is proud to have his image on Arjuna's battle flag. Text 88. Without the unconditional mercy of the Lord's most beloved friends, a devotee's loving service can never succeed or bear fruit. Commentary. Now, by Hanuman's ecstasy in unalloyed prema, has awakened to such an extent that he feels stirred to go see the Pandavas at once, and he is about to propose to Narada just that. One can never become a recognized servant of the Lord. In other words, one can never enter the rasa of dasya without the blessings of perfect devotees like the Pandavas. Even if one externally makes a show of such service, one will not reap the fruit of satisfying Krishna and enjoying transcendental ecstasy. Pure devotional service proceeds completely under the authority of the Lord's beloved devotees. Text 89. Therefore, O best of Vaishnavas, most dear devotee of the Lord, let us go together to see the Pandavas and take shelter of them. Commentary. Hanuman's words indicate that he considers Narada as blessed as the Pandavas in receiving Lord Krishna's favor. Since both Hanuman and Narada are servants in the Dasya mood, it is entirely fitting for them to visit the Pandavas at their residence and even stay with them to learn about devotional service. Apart from being fit to see the Pandavas, Hanuman and Narada should be able to receive from them special mercy by rendering such services as standing guard for them at night. Text 90 and 91. Never in Ayodhya did the Lord disclose what he now reveals in the district of Mathura, known as Dwarka. Countless varieties of supreme opulence and sweetness, one after another, which Brahma, Rudra, and other demigods can hardly fathom. These glories expand the love of his devotees. Commentary. As Hanuman looks forward to the inestimable benefit he and Narada will achieve in Dwarka, he reaches the peak of eagerness. During the ancient time when the Madhu demon ruled Mathura, that kingdom extended all the way to the Western Ocean and included the region of Dwarka. Sri Harivansha confirms this in the words of Madhu himself, spoken to the son-in-law of Vikadru. Welcome, dear boy, Hayashva. I am happy to see you. Let me give you this, my entire kingdom, except for the Madhuvan forest. Please agree to live here and rule this splendid kingdom. Graced by the shores of the ocean, it is rich with cows and peopled mostly by Abhira cowherds. During your stay here, in the district of Saurashtra, there will come to be a great mountain fortress, fit for the residence of kings and unequaled by any other royal estate. Your vast kingdom will be called Anartha. Sometimes, of course, the land of Mathura is measured as being smaller. In the Varaha Purana 158.1, for example, we hear the Supreme Lord refer to my district of Mathura, extending for 20 yojanas. The smaller Mathura Mandala is the area marked by the footprints of Sri Nandanandana, who frequently wanders and plays there, tending his cows. The supreme opulences of the personality of Godhead are manifest in Dwarka, because Dwarka is part of the greater Mathura. So glorification of Dwarka is also, in effect, glorification of Mathura. Text 92. Sri Narada said, what are you saying? Sometimes unseen in Ayodhya? Something unseen in Ayodhya? It's not seen even in Vaikuntha. Get up, my friend. We should go there at once. Commentary. Srila Sanatana Goswami comments that Narada is ready to go either to Dwarka or to the Pandavas' capital, Hastinapur. Both are equally good destinations. With the interjection, Krishna gives voice to distress at not having seen such splendor in Ayodhya or Vaikuntha. And with the repeated request, Utishta, Utishta, he expresses extreme eagerness to go. Text 93. Sri Parikshit said, Hanuman, the ocean of sobriety, then sighed for a moment, and after a brief time, in thought, he bowed down to Narada and spoke. Commentary. Hanuman's strict loyalty to Lord Ramachandra made him reconsider what he had been thinking. He concludes that to go running off to Dwarka, leaving aside his regular worship, would violate his exclusive devotion. So he bows down to Narada to ask forgiveness before saying no to what Narada has suggested. Text 94. Sri Hanuman said, certainly it would be fitting for us to visit Dwarka to see the Pandavas and offer them service, for they are in all respects most dear to the personality of Godhead and his consort. Commentary. Two good reasons to visit the Pandavas are to see them and to offer them service. Or the reason is actually one, because seeing them, darshan, is itself personal service and transcendental worship. Text 95. But the Lord is now displaying uncommonly intense mercy and sweetness, more confidential than anything he has ever shown before. 96. Those wonderful playful pastimes are so supremely enchanting that they bewilder even self-realized sages. Commentary. Hanuman is about to admit his fear of offending Sri Krishna and his devotees. Even in Dwarka, what to speak of Vrindavan, the mode of devotional service in the company of Sri Krishna is more relaxed than Hanuman is accustomed to. So he is worried about becoming confused and doing something wrong. At the same time, he readily acknowledges that the charm of Dwarka and the intensity of Krishna's mercy there have never been shown anywhere else, even in Ayodhya. Text 97. Just see how even your father, Brahma, grandfather of the world, founder Acharya of the Vedic teachings, was confused by the pastimes of Krishna, Pravartaka Acharya. Founder Acharya. Text 98. So what can be said about foolish forest monkeys like me? Because of how strangely Krishna's pastimes unfold, as you also know, I am afraid of committing offenses. Commentary. If Brahma could become bewildered in Krishna's presence, Hanuman thinks, then I will lose my intelligence the moment I see him. Someone might try to explain to Hanuman, but those who are bewildered like that are jnanis, sages attached to dry knowledge. Brahma became confused because of attachment to his knowledge and high position, but pure devotees won't succumb to the same bewilderment. Hanuman's answer is that Narada himself became bewildered when he visited Dwarka and saw in each of 16,000 palaces a different Krishna. Text 99. Let the wonderfully varied pastimes of the Lord be the very life of his servants, who think of nothing but him. For such devotees, those pastimes always increase the ecstasy of love of God. Commentary. To remember the pastimes of the personality of Godhead is not only his devotees' gati, the aim of all their endeavors, it is parama gati, their only resort and protection from all dangers. Texts 100 to 104. Even so, I simply feel more attracted to the Supreme Lord in his eternal identity as Sri Raghunath, the son of Dasharath and joy of Mother Kaushalya. His heart is always tender with natural, unaffected compassion. He is spontaneously attracted to loving exchanges with his devotees, exchanges free from any tinge of duplicity. He demonstrates how to follow properly the religious duties of a civilized people, and he upholds the strict vow of having only one wife. In the shyness of innate humility, his face always looks downward, his eyes fixed on the ground. His exalted character is pleasing to all. He stands with bow in hand, the King of Kings, the hero of the city of Ayodhya, served by Sita and Lakshman, and with Bharata as his older brother. He rules the race of monkeys as the dear friend of Sugriva, and gives shelter to Vibhishana. By my hearing of the pastimes of Krishna, the unlimited loving attraction I feel toward my own master has increased. I believe right here there's an edit that needs to be made with Bharat as his older brother. Ram is the eldest brother. Yeah. So it should be with Bharat as his younger brother. Text 105. Therefore I think I shall stay here, constantly seeing him in this form and drinking the immortal nectar of his pastimes. Commentary. In essence, Hanuman says that he is not independent. He cannot go anywhere or do anything on his own whim. Even though he knows that Lord Rama is an expansion of Sri Devaki Nandana, he must continue to worship Lord Ramachandra. Text 106. And when the Lord may sometimes call me for some purpose, by his great mercy, he might allow me the transcendental happiness of serving him. Commentary. If the Lord desires, then I shall go here or there. Hanuman needs to stay in Kimpurusha Loka to be ready to answer any special request from Lord Ramachandra. And if Sri Krishna is in his pastimes kindly calls for Hanuman to assist, for example, to appear on the Kurukshetra battlefield to frighten the Kaurava soldiers, Hanuman of course will gladly come at once to Hastinapur or Dwarka. Text 107. Or, inspired by an affection for me, the Lord may call me just to show me the beautiful form I love more than my own life. Commentary. Narada could now reply that since Sri Krishna in fact wants the two of them to come to Dwarka, Hanuman should agree to fulfill the Lord's desire. Anticipating this, Hanuman presents another reason for not leaving his post in Kimpurusha Loka. Easier for him than leaving Lord Ramachandra would be simply to give up his life. In Kimpurusha Loka, Hanuman serves his Lord in separation and cannot fully enjoy at every moment the Lord's beauty and the charm of his pastimes. But if called to Lord Ramachandra's side in Ayodhya, if only for some short assignment, Hanuman would leave Kimpurusha Loka at once, without a thought. He could never leave for any other purpose. A curious story further explains this service attitude. Once Lord Krishna in Dwarka wanted to break the pride of Garuda and others by showing the steadfast exclusiveness of Vaishnava devotion. So he called Garuda to his lotus feet and told him, "Please hear my command. You should bring Hanuman from Kimpurusha Loka." Garuda went, approached Hanuman, and told him, "The personality of Godhead, King of the Yadavas, is calling you, my dear Hanuman. Go to him at once." But Hanuman, exclusively devoted to Sri Raghunath, ignored Garuda's request. Angered, Garuda tried to take Hanuman to Krishna by force, but Hanuman, with the tip of his tail, pushed him effortlessly away. Garuda fell through the sky and landed in Dwarka, where Krishna, amused to see him, said, "Dear Garuda, go back to Hanuman and tell him that Sri Raghunath is calling him." After dispatching Garuda again, Krishna turned himself into Lord Ramachandra and made Sri Balarama become Lakshman. When Queen Satyabhama seemed unable to turn into Sita Devi, Krishna, laughing, had Sri Rukmini become Sita instead and placed her at his left side. Then the three of them stood waiting for Hanuman at Dwarka. When Garuda met Hanuman, he told him of the Lord's request. Hanuman, filled with ecstasy, responded by running to meet his Lord. He took darshan of this disguised Krishna, Balaram, and Rukmini, and offered prayers and devotion. Very much satisfied with Hanuman, the Lord bestowed on him whatever benedictions Hanuman chose. Hare Krishna. I must be ready to present myself before him without delay, whenever he might call. But now, you please go visit the Pandavas at their home and see the supreme, absolute truth in his appearance like a human being. Commentary. Having heard Hanuman declare his devotion for Lord Ramachandra, Narada might now want to stay with Hanuman in Kimpurushaloka, but Hanuman suggests that Narada take the opportunity to see Sri Krishna in the company of the Pandavas. Sri Krishna, in his most attractive two-armed form, is the origin of Lord Narayana. Since the beauty and charm of Krishna cannot ultimately be described, Narada should go see Lord Krishna for himself. Moreover, to show fully Krishna's kindness toward the Pandavas, one must see it personally. Text 109. Lord Krishna is fully satisfied in himself. Even great sages cannot perceive him in their hearts or describe him with their words. He is the supreme enchanter because his wonderful pastimes are the source of endless attraction. Commentary. The Pandavas did not follow any sadhana for self-realization. Yet Lord Krishna was so satisfied with their devotional attitude that he bestowed on them his full mercy, rarely obtained even by accomplished sages. Thus the Pandavas forever enjoy the most exclusive good fortune. They live in intimate friendship with the supremely attractive personality of Godhead, whose pastime activities are full of sweet variety, and who is the source of all other attractive persons, including Cupid. And it's 8 o'clock. Hare Krishna. We'll stop the reading tonight and read from text 110 tomorrow. So, do we have any reflections or comments in this beautiful section of the Brhad Bhagavatamrta, Hanuman glorifying Lord Krishna and the Pandavas, along with Narada? Hare Krishna.
First, there's something from Brhad Bhagavatamrta.
Hey, Braj. First out of the gate.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. These daily readings are making me think there are so many ways to engage in bhakti that it's almost as unique as individuals themselves. How can we understand Krishna's personality? He is super amazing and can give back in ways to his devotees that seem unfathomable.
Very well said. Sadhu, sadhu. The Krishna has as many facets as he has devotees, and he has unlimited devotees. He shows those facets to his devotees. Yes, it's incredible. It is unfathomable. Thank you for that comment. Hare Krishna.
Next is something from Vamsi Vilasi.
Hare Krishna Vamsi Vilasi Hari Bol.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Commentary says, quote, Hanuman's ecstasy lay in speaking to glorify the Pandavas more and more. His attraction to this katha was not a mundane urge to speak for self-satisfaction, but a rasa, a transcendental taste known only to pure Vaishnavas. Unquote. I like to speak about Krishna, but I know for sure that my attraction is heavily mixed with false pride and a desire for self-satisfaction. I would like to work towards doing the real thing like Hanuman and yourself.
Well, this is proof of the pudding that pure love of God is in the heart of everyone. It just needs to be awakened. Hare Krishna. Congratulations for being down that path to some degree. Hare Krishna.
Next is something from Bhakti Noel.
Bhakti Noel. Hare Krishna.
She says, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for reading these transcendental texts to us each day. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai, glories to Prabhupada. Thanks for being there.
And Ukti Tantra says, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna, Ukti.
From Rati Manjari, she says, thank you so very much for reading all this nectar to us, Guru Maharaj. You make me so happy.
Thanks, Rati. Hare Krishna.
And then from Bhakta Ben, he says, thanks for the nectar, Maharaj. Really enjoyed hearing of Hanuman's unique style of bhakti. And then a question from Gauranga Gopal. He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Your daily readings are the sweetest thing to hear to close our day. In the commentary of text 94 it is said, quote, seeing them, darshan, is itself personal service and transcendental service. Unquote, speaking about the Pandavas. Does that mean that by hearing of them, we also perform personal service to them?
Absolutely. Everything connected with Krishna is absolute. It's in the absolute platform. So hearing about him is the same as seeing him, is the same as chanting about him, is the same as thinking about them. It's not different. We sometimes can't perceive that it's not different, but it is non-different. But we receive something, we perceive something every time we open up one of Prabhupada's books and just begin to read. We perceive something of this truth. Therefore, I just recently ran across a quote that I think I wrote down. I don't know if I kept it in my... Yeah, I think it's here. This is from first canto, Bhagavatam, 1-8, purport. There is a dormant affection for God within everyone. Spiritual existence is manifested through the gross body and mind in the form of perverted affection for gross and subtle matter. Therefore, we have to engage ourselves in occupational engagements that will evoke our divine consciousness. This is possible only by hearing and chanting the divine activities of the Supreme Lord. And any occupational activity which does not help one to achieve attachment for hearing and chanting the transcendental message of Godhead is said herein to be simply a waste of time. So this is indirectly, he's saying the same thing, that hearing the pastimes of Krishna is the same as being with Krishna. It awakens love for Krishna in anyone and everyone that's fortunate enough to get that taste. And another in the same, the first canto, first chapter, verse 21 purport, Prabhupada says, the sage of Naimisharanya began this process in a place meant specifically for the devotees of the Lord. They prepared themselves to hear the pastimes of the Lord over a period of 1,000 years. By the example of these sages, one should learn that regular hearing and recitation of the Bhagavatam is the only way for self-realization. Other attempts are simply a waste of time, for they do not give any tangible results. Hare Krishna. So yes, hearing about the Lord is as good as seeing the Lord, taking darshan of the Lord. A literary incarnation of Krishna.
Next is something from Daityari Haridas.
Daityari Haridas, Haribo.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you again. Having the opportunity to tune into these readings every evening and hearing Brhad Bhagavatamrta from someone with as intimate a connection with it as you has been a very uplifting experience. Thank you for giving us the opportunity. Forgive the ignorance and materially contaminated basis of my question, but I was just wondering, how is it that Hanuman is completely attached to serving Lord Rama as opposed to Krishna, but considers those not attached to Rama but to Krishna as having attained a higher level? To material vision it seems contradictory.
Yes. Everything seemingly contradictory is reconciled within the pure devotional service of the Lord. That's why you can't understand Krishna by mundane or material logic and reasoning. The pure devotee of the Lord feels himself, feels everyone else as better devotees than him. That's called dainya, and that is the essential prerequisite for obtaining prema, Krishna prema. So those of us who are neophytes and still relying on our material intelligence to understand the pastimes of the Lord will see contradiction in these things. But there is no contradiction. Therefore, Hanuman can easily think that the devotee, the pure devotee of Krishna, is a greater devotee than him, even though he's completely dedicated to Lord Ramachandra. The Pandavas are dedicated to Krishna. He knows that Lord Ramachandra and Krishna are the same. But that's his sthaya bhava. That's Istai Bhava. Persons who are in pure consciousness, they don't see, those things, higher and lower. He's completely satisfied with his devotion to Lord Ramachandra. And at the same time, he can see that the devotion of the Pandavas to Krishna is more intimate than his even. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone, very much. This book is magic, as Devamrita Maharaj always tells me whenever I see him. He says, this book is the gold standard. It's so wonderful. Shri Brhad Bhagavatamrta ki jai. Sama Beta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. Thank you so much again. See you tomorrow night. Same place, same time, same topic. The Brhad Bhagavatamrta, the creme de la creme of the spiritual scriptures glorifying Krishna. Hare Krishna.